Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why do we play Classic WoW over and over again. You know, I stopped to think about this the other day and I've quite literally been playing Classic WoW now for 7 years straight. I was playing on a few private servers before Classic WoW came out for a number of years. I got a Hunter, a Warlock and a Warrior and a Shaman to level 60 on private servers, and then later a Rogue and a Priest in Classic WoW. And now I've nearly got a Mage to level 60. And, you know, it's a little crazy how I've spent so much time playing Classic WoW to the point where it's actually stopping me from trying out new games that I really want to play. Like, for instance, I've wanted to play the Outer Worlds RPG for like 2 years now. I just simply haven't got around to it because I've been playing Classic WoW so much. So what is it about Classic WoW that makes us play the game over and over again, neglecting to play other games, neglecting girlfriends, family, friends, and your goldfish? I think Classic just has a charm to it that is sometimes very difficult to explain, but I think the most addictive element of an RPG game is progression. You know, investing time into your character who, as time goes on, becomes more and more powerful. Okay, and in Classic, this progression is very slow, very steady, and very rewarding. Other MMOs like to rush progression to get its endgame as fast as possible, and that's where the true progression of, you know, something like Retail World of Warcraft actually starts. It starts at endgame, and leveling is just something you have to get out of the way, especially as your raid gear from the previous expansion is better than any of the questing gear. But in Classic, you progress your character by completing immersive long quest chains. These quest chains are sometimes class specific, like the Warrior Whirlwind Axe quest or the Mage Staff quest. Sometimes they aren't class specific, like the Defias Brotherhood chain that rewards some very impactful gear. These quests are normally very challenging. They sometimes require you to actually be social and make a group, and obviously along the way you can potentially make friends, and obviously they require a lot of exploration of this beautiful pre-Cataclysm Azeroth. There really is just something about old Azeroth that's better than any other zone that's come out in new expansions. I know there's a lot of detail and nice colours and, you know, stuff like that in the new expansion zones, and they've obviously put more work into it, like on the art team and everything. But I don't know what it is, it just doesn't have the same charm as Classic. I think it's because Classic WoW, you know, is very much a Tolkien-esque medieval-styled RPG, but when TBC comes out, you know, that's it, that's all over. Now there's spaceships, planets, aliens, and space goats, and it dramatically changes the identity of World of Warcraft, and part of me kind of likes how World of Warcraft becomes more of a, you know, a fantasy sci-fi, but also part of me doesn't for some reason. And now I want to talk about dungeons. I think dungeons are obviously a very important part of any MMO. I think Classic dungeons are just so much better than any other expansion's dungeons. In TBC, and definitely by the time that Wrath turns up, the dungeons are very linear and streamlined. There really is only one path to follow. But when you turn to a dungeon like BRD or Wailing Caverns, there's many different routes that you can take, and these dungeons almost feel like an instant zone rather than a point, you know, get from point A to point B dungeon. Simply just so much detail and depth to Classic WoW dungeons, which is largely helped by quests. Quests help reveal certain secrets and lore about the dungeon, or even secret bosses. And the exact same goes for elite questing zones. I talked about them in a recent video you might want to check out. Dungeons are also incredibly long. In Wrath of the Lich King, dungeons are all thoroughly streamlined to be roughly about 30 minutes long, probably less when you know, have some good gear. But a full run of BRD, you know, it can take you an hour. It can take you 2 hours, take you 3 hours. It doesn't matter, because all that matters is what kind of run you are going to do. You're going to do a full run, you do a lava run, you're going to do a run where you go to the arena. So now I'm going to quick fire some more points, because not going to lie, I'm really drained right now. Unfortunately, I've been tested positive for COVID, and this virus ain't no disco, man. It is horrible. But if I don't keep uploading to the channel, then YouTube will rip me a new one, so I've got to carry on working. It's not as if I get sick pay or people to cover for me. I've always liked how the crafting in Classic has felt very impactful when leveling. You know, for instance, I've recently made myself some really good spell power gear and a lot of bags, which have helped me out a lot in the leveling process. And obviously when you play a warrior and you level up alchemy, it is super cozy, because all of the individual buffs are pretty much beneficial to a warrior, and it makes you so much more, well, not like loads powerful, but just that little bit more powerful to make warrior leveling like not that difficult. And that brings up another point about the difficulty of the day-to-day leveling, which I think also makes Classic WoW stand out a lot. You can just effortlessly pull multiple enemies all at once and just deal with it. Like, you can pretty much, obviously in retail WoW, but it also feels like every single new MMO that comes out is also ridiculously easy as well. Apart, obviously a mage can do, like, you know, big AoE pulls and everything like that, but even, you know, for a new player, it's actually quite challenging to get used to, i.e. me. I think you still have to be pretty skilled at playing a mage to do the AoE pulls. It's not as easy as doing AoE pulls on retail. And when you actually begin to upgrade your character, the gear you get, you really do feel the upgrade. Because say, for instance, I'm a mage, I get a piece of gear with like 10 stamina on it. That's like another 200 health. I see my health bar go up like, you know, a fairly decent chunk. And it's because the values of health and damage and everything, it's all, you know, scaled down so that the... Because obviously, I think, you know, on retail they have started scaling down numbers and stuff, but they still haven't really done it properly, in my opinion. I've always thought that the numbers in retail is just crazy and just out there. But, you know, because the numbers are smaller in Classic, when you get a gear piece, for instance, that gives you an extra 40 spell power, where you can, like, physically see that, you know, on your next fireball, you see that it's doing 40 extra damage. And obviously, I can't not mention the talent trees. Although the talent trees are very flawed because they ruin the viability of certain specs, they're infinitely better than the simplified and boring talents that you get on retail with very limited options. Because let's be honest, the talents on retail, it's just pick a certain ability. They barely even feel like talents anymore. So let me know, guys, in the comment section why you guys love Classic and why you can't stop playing it, you know, over and over again like me. But anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. To my next video. Ciao.